Hi everyone, I'm Cruz and I'm a voice actor who's been working mostly from home since 2018. And as such, I'm often asked for advice about microphones. And I'm sure many of my colleagues here at Voice Actors at Home PH, as well as others in the industry, have heard similar questions. And I'll be blunt, I don't think I'm the right person to answer this because I'm a killjoy when it comes to that line of questioning. Personally, I think your recording space matters a whole lot more than your mic. And there are other things you might want to consider spending on before spending on your mic. But for now, in this video at least, I'm going to try to give an answer anyway because, like it or not, if you want to make a living as a home-based voice actor, your gear and your equipment are investments that will definitely factor into your success. So, let's dive right into this topic and get some answers. All right, first, you might be wondering, what do I have against microphones? Well, I've got nothing against mics. In fact, as someone who suffers from GAS, and I mean gear acquisition syndrome, I have a really strong tendency to geek out over microphones and other gadgets, which basically means that I would upgrade my mic in a heartbeat if money were no object. But the fact is, I really just think your recording environment matters so much more. And I'll just repeat something I've said elsewhere, specifically IG. Recording in a noisy space, your mic will pick up everything. The sound bounce all over your room. Your mic will pick that up too. If you can hear noise, chances are your mic is picking that up as well. Fact is, your mic is only as good as the space it's in. So if your space is subpar, your mic is not going to save you. If you want to produce pro-level audio, your studio matters a whole lot more than your microphone does. And as for building that studio or recording space, well, that's stuff for another poster video or two, or, well, let's just say I can discuss that topic at length because, well, it's yet another thing I can geek out about. So, what's a good starter mic? All right, before we go any further, a disclaimer. Please don't take my advice as gospel truth. This is my opinion, and some experts will agree with me, while some will react quite violently. But I'm the one answering now. So here's my suggestion. And mind you, we're publishing this video in the first quarter of 2023, so if you're watching this much later than that, it's possible my recommendations for exact models may be a little bit dated. However, the principles that I'll discuss right after, those things should still apply regardless of when you watch this. Anyway, on to my recommendations. 1. Get a dirt cheap BM800 for a few hundred pesos. And for those in the US, that converts to less than $20. But ditch all the accessories that come with it. 2. Pair it with a decent audio interface like the Behringer Euphoria UMC22 or UM2, both of which you can get for under $5,000 or under $100. Or if you really want to keep your expenses down, though at the cost of some bit depth, but that's another topic, you can grab a Teiyun Q12 for just around $1,000 or $20 tops. 3. Connect the two with a high-quality shielded XLR cable for a little over $1,000 or $20. All in all, this should set you back some 3,000 to 7,000 pesos, or again in US dollars, something in the neighborhood of $40. So why this combination? Well, the BM800 is probably the most affordable XLR mic you can get. And while it's not a great mic, the bigger issue, in my opinion, is that the V8 sound card that comes bundled with it doesn't deliver phantom power. And if you don't know what that is, well, we can discuss that some other time. The point is, the BM800 is just your starter mic, and you will replace it, hopefully, not long from now. And items 2 and 3, your interface and your cable, will help you make the most of your BM800, and will still work for you when you ditch it for a better microphone. Ideally, You'll practice with this combo, then replace your mic when you can afford to. And when you can upgrade again, you'll replace your interface. Rinse, repeat. On a side note, in case you're worried about the audio quality of the BM800, check here. Here's a little video comparing it with a mic that retails for over $3,000. And that's a Neumann U87. Watch it now if you want, then come back and tell me, can you tell the difference? I bet you can't. The BM800 might not be something you'd call an excellent microphone, but it gets the job done. Now, some of you might be wondering, I see some USB microphones available. Would you recommend getting a USB mic? The short answer is not really. I like the idea of getting an XLR mic right off the bat because of the leapfrogging upgrade cycle I described earlier. Replace the mic, then the interface, then the mic again, and so on. If you get a USB mic, you're getting a mic with a built-in interface all in one kit, which means you'll spend more come upgrade time because you have to replace everything all at once. Plus, having all the electronics of both your mic and your interface all crammed into one tiny space has its own drawbacks when it comes to audio quality. We'll discuss that topic soon enough, but the gist of it is that you can't defy the laws of physics. When you cram a ton of electronics into a tiny device, you have to make compromises. And often, those compromises include losing some audio quality. Having said all that, if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose, here's what I would suggest. Again, these are suggestions from early 2023. If you're in a tight budget, get something from Maono or Fifine. I can't suggest a specific model because I haven't used a USB mic in a while, but a number of colleagues have suggested these brands. I would specifically look for the following qualities. So one, it's a condenser mic with a cardioid polar pattern, which is usually represented with an icon like this, something that can record 44.1 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz audio, and it can record at 16 or 24-bit. And maybe, if they advertise this, get one that promises low self-noise. Now, I won't get into technicals here, but the idea is to get a no-frills mic that lets you produce clean audio on a budget between $2,000 and $5,000. All right, now, if you want to spend a little more, you've got a few other options. At roughly $5,500, you can get an Audio-Technica ADR 2500X USB. Or you can shell out around $7,500 for a Rode NT USB Mini. There's also another option. Get something that does both. Get a mic that offers both USB and XLR connectivity. This way, you can start out connecting your mic directly to your computer via USB, and then get an audio interface later on and connect your mic via XLR. A number of my colleagues have used the Samsung Q2U for around $3,500, but you can also try the Audio-Technica ADR 2100X USB for $5,500. Or, if you're feeling fancy, you can get the Shure MV7 for around $15,000. Now, let's say you're done with your first mic and you want to upgrade. What are your choices? Well, this is a difficult question to answer because once you get past your starter microphone, mic choice is quite personal. You have to go out, try different microphones, and find one that just works for you. Most will end up with condenser mics, but I've heard of some who've fallen in love with the odd dynamic microphone. It's hard to find one word to capture this idea, but in Filipino, it's hiyangan. Some mics just work better for you than others, and in order to find that mic, you gotta experiment. I realize this doesn't really answer the question, but since, like I said, it's a personal thing, let me just tell you about the mic I upgraded to when I outgrew my Blue Yeti. So this is the Rode NT1 paired with an AI1 interface. I chose this particular mic and interface partly because it's known to have a neutral or flat frequency response. In plain English, it doesn't tend to boost any particular frequencies, giving it a, natural or neutral sound. Admittedly, discussion on this can get very long and geeky, and for some, very boring. But here's the general idea in a nutshell. Some microphones bump up certain frequencies and sometimes cut down others. And part of what this means is that some microphones will suit your voice better than others. And that brings us back to my first point about hiyangan. Anyway, back to the NT1. I needed a mic that both my wife and I could use, and I figured a neutral mic would work well for both of us. We'll both eventually get mics that we think really fit our individual voices or our individual vocal ranges better, but for now, this road works quite well for both of us. Now, do you need anything else? Yeah, you probably will. One thing you might need, or one thing you will need, is a way to monitor your audio output and listen to your recordings. That would mean headphones like this, or some monitor speakers. And you might need a 1/4 inch male to 1/8 inch female adapter for your audio jack too. Looks like one of these things. And you'll also need a DAW, and that's a topic for another video, which is linked right here. Of course, you'll also need a decent recording space. Yes, I will harp on this point over and over and over. To quote a fellow voice actor and VAPI comm lead, Joel Villafranca, my first real mic was the Blue Snowball Ice USB condenser mic. It was okay, but because my room wasn't treated, it picked up everything. The fact is, your mic will only magnify any problems your space might have, so make sure your recording space is fairly quiet and acoustically treated. I believe that'll be a bigger factor in your success as a home-based voice actor than your mic will be. All right, that's all, folks. If this helps you decide what microphone to start with, then it's mission accomplished for me. If it helps you decide that, hey, I don't need a mic just yet and I just need a better recording space, then all the better. Maybe you've got more questions I can answer? Maybe you've got some violent reactions. Do you want to say anything? Leave a comment or make another video and basically just let us know. And of course, don't forget to like and follow using the links down below. Bye.